Parents, I am always shocked whenever I tell your children that they should read this book and then they say, "Oh, I've seen that movie." And I'm like, "Yeah, did you know it was a book first?" And then they say, "No, I didn't even know it was a book." These are the three that always shock me the most because I just assumed that everybody knew it was a book, but everyone only knows it as a movie. The first one is The Polar Express by Chris Van Allsburg. The Polar Express is about a boy who goes on a magical train to head to the North Pole to meet Santa Claus and receive the first gift of Christmas. Now, in the book, the boy believes the entire time that Santa's real and all his friends around him tell him that he's not real. So he does spend the entire story very much looking forward to seeing Santa Claus because he knows that he's real. In the movie, the boy questions a lot if Santa is real, and you see that throughout the story if he goes back and forth between is he real, is he not real, and when he gets to actually see Santa, it's quite a shock for him. Other things that are different between the book and the movie is that in the book, it's much shorter. It is a picture book, so the events are basically him getting on the train, going to the North Pole, meeting Santa, getting the first gift at Christmas, and then going back home. Versus there was a lot more adventures happening in the movie because they wanted to stretch it out to make it a longer movie. So there was obviously things that were added on there that do not happen in the book. Number 2, The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. I'm very shocked by this one because the movie just came out last summer. So I am very shocked to know that children didn't realize that it was a book before it became that movie. The book, The Wild Robot, is about a robot named Roz who ended up on a deserted island, and the only thing that's there is nature and animals. She has to learn how to adapt to her nature because she doesn't really know that she's programmed to be doing something else. And she does befriend the animals and gets used to the habitats, and she does adopt a gosling and raise it as her son. A lot of those things are very similar to the movie. The main difference between the book and the movie is that in the book there are some characters that the movie doesn't even bring. For example, there is a character named Chit Chat who doesn't show up in the movie at all. In the movie, they use the fox as one of the main side characters, which is not really the case at all in the book. They also did stretch out a lot about the gosling's story in the movie as far as like his struggles to be able to fly, actually seeing him migrate, and then him coming back, along with ending up in that robot warehouse area where he sees all of them working that look just like Roz. That did not happen in the book. The third one is Coraline by Neil Gaiman. It would be considered more of a novella than a book because it is rather short. It is about a girl named Coraline who moves to a new apartment with her parents and discovers a secret door that goes to the other world where she meets the other mother and the other father, where the other mother does try to trap her and take away her soul. So a lot of the same things to the movie. However, in the book, Coraline is a lot more suspicious immediately of the other world versus in the movie, Coraline feels that it's a lot more alluring and a lot more drawing, and she doesn't suspect anything about the other mother and the other father and their other ulterior motives. So those are 3 books for you that maybe your children didn't know were actually books before they were movies. So if your children end up seeing these movies and they really love them, you could always go and get these books for them. And then maybe you can do that a little bit, compare and contrast of like, well, what was different in the book versus what was different in the movie? Which one did you end up liking more? Never surprised to hear that they usually end up liking the book more. Happy reading!